Hey guys, in today's video we are going to be looking at chess tempo. We're going to be solving some blitz problems there. So get your mind all warmed up and ready to improve your tactics. Hey guys, Brian Castro here with Better Chess Training, and here we have another chess training session. And today I'm going to be doing problems from ChessTempo.com. They have blitz tactics and standard tactics, and I've a few years ago actually created a video for Chess Tempo. They've made a few changes to the site since then, but essentially server with tactics problems and endgame problems, and I like it quite a bit. So in today's video, what I thought I would do, as you can see here in the right below my picture, I'm going to do a set of problems, and unlike Chessity, there's no, you can do as many as you want. And so we're going to try to get to 10 problems within a reasonable amount of time here. Chess Tempo does, in the blitz tactics, does penalize you a bit if you take too long on the problems. If you don't want to do them timed, they also have a standard problem set, and I do those as well. So I've mentioned in other videos, it's good to do it timed to add to your pressure, also to test your pattern recognition, as well as doing it with no time, so you can maybe focus more on your visualization and calculation. Anyways, let's get started. Actually, the position that's up is from the last problem I did, but I reset the counter here, and let's get going. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try to solve these fairly quickly, and if there's any issues or anything we have to look at, we can actually look at it after each position. So let's take a look here at this one. Well, we have this fork here, but then we'll be losing this knight. So I guess the idea is there any way to save the knight and still get the fork off? Let's see here. Or the other thought, is there a way it would threatening this fork be any good to me? For example, I could move the knight here, threatening here, and then yeah, pretty much, yeah, I would get the fork almost in any case. If he moves the king somewhere, let's see, that's the question. Can he move the king somewhere to protect himself? Actually, I don't think so, because I think he's going to lose anything. So I'm going to play this, and that's the solution. And I'm going to check, and we win the exchange. Okay? So far, so good. And on that one, I actually gained some points, which is good. Sometimes when I take more than, say, a minute, I lose points even when I get it right. But that's good. In any case, we want to balance trying to do it quickly with trying to get it accurate and right, okay? So we don't want to guess, as I've mentioned many times. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we got this pin here. Do we have any hanging piece? This piece is hanging, but I don't see how I could get to it. If I play this bishop move attacking here because it's pinned, does that get me anywhere? Well, I could take here after that. Let's see here. I feel that's right. Okay, he moves. And I think I just win. I think I just win this piece. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, and let's go to the next one. Okay, here I've got an attack on this king. And the one thing here, Chess Tempo always makes that move there, so you have to wait for the move before you can decide what you want to do. Can a direct attack here be useful? And we also have checks along this diagonal. So let's see here. And does attacking this queen do anything with the bishop? Let's see, knight to g5. Knight to g5, and then if he he can, let's see, play something like g6. Well, so a couple thoughts here. I'm thinking like maybe, see if I hit him with this check right away, then bishop to e6 looks good. So I think knight to g5 is the first move. And then it covers these squares here. There's always these threats of this fork on f7, which is one of the main, it's a nice motif or theme to be aware of. There's also this attack on this queen. And then if the queen, and then we could follow that up with a rook attack with the rook. But this attack on the king seems so good. Bishop to g5, and then the queen, let's see, can't go here. So anywhere along here, that rook comes out here. Just trying to see where it can go. I'm actually leaning. Those are two, I think, decent ideas here. But I feel this king attack has something to it. Let's see. All right, so he's going to block here. And now I get this check in. And then he blocks, and then I win a piece. Okay? Actually, let's just go back so I can show you what happened there. Knight to g5, threatening, of course, this check right here, which would be unpleasant, as well as this check. And then e4 blocks the threat. It's not a mating threat, but it blocks that. But queen to b3 check. So this is actually a very good position to remember. With this queen to b3 check. There's a lot of tactics in master games, and in a lot of openings with this type of theme. Okay, and then after he blocks, I win this piece. Okay, let's go to the next problem. Okay, so far so good, guys. Okay, we have this rook over here. Okay, he's going to move up there. We have to give that second for that chess tempo to make its move. Let's look at our forcing moves here. We got rook to g7 check. So we've got this hanging piece here. This guy's hanging. So the immediate thought is, how can I trap it? But we also have this king here that's fairly loose. And actually, I think I see we have a mating net. So if you'll notice, this king, this square is covered. So I'm going to play here. And you can see now he has to move this pawn. And then I think I just win. I win that bishop. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let me just show you. For example, let's say he moves just this rook. I'm just making a move here. Then that's the checkmate threat. Okay, so he has to play d6 in order to relieve, give his king a spot to go. So now if I went here, the king would go here. Okay. Let's see, going back. That's the one nice thing about chess tempo. I can kind of go back and show you these things between the moves. So I can focus on the problem, and then I can show you afterwards. So we have a skewer between the king and the bishop. Okay, let's go to the next problem. Okay, let's see here. Let's wait to see what black does. Okay, black takes that bishop. We have our rook being attacked, and this knight. The immediate thought is that, can I trap this knight? Or are there any forking tactics here? You can see not immediately there. This knight has this escape square and can't go here. I mean, the immediate thought is there a way to trap this? Actually, the other thing is if I just attack this knight and it moves, I have this discovered attack. So I think that's the answer. Okay, and here's the discovery, and I win the exchange. Okay, so discovered attack. Pretty straightforward. Okay, next problem. Let's wait for white to move. Okay, white is attacking this rook. And this looks like it just could be a removal of the defender. If I take the rook, takes with the queen, I take the knight. Are there any missing pieces here? Yeah, I think that works. Let's do that. So some of these problems are kind of quick hitting tactics that we're doing this morning, and it's morning here, and so hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that's okay. But we've got 6. Let's try to get to 10. Let's see if we can get 10 in a row. Not the most difficult problems, but sometimes it's good to practice difficult problems as well as not so difficult problems. Okay, do I just have a mating net here? Rook to g4 check, and then if the king goes there, I play this mate. I'm not in check right now. If I play this check and he goes here, then I just checkmate him here. Okay, I think that's it. And here. Okay, that was an easy one. I actually lost points on that because I didn't do it fast enough, but I'm okay with that because I got it right. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see here. Okay. So this guy is hanging, and this guy's just protected here. So I'm immediately seeing, are there any ways to attack this piece with tempo, getting some speed on that. Typically it would be something like attacking this guy, which I can. I can attack it with the rook, or I can attack it with the knight. If I attack it with the rook, I think he just takes the knight, and after I take back, he just moves to his knight. If I attack it with my knight, then after he goes here to c5, I can play that. So I think that's the answer. Yep. And that is attacking the defender. I'm not sure if it would be classified actually under removal of the defender, but in any case, that's that. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see. Okay. So we've got this guy's on pre with this pawn here, but my queen is being attacked. Is this just a hanging piece problem? Sometimes Chess Tempo has some of these where the piece is just hanging. If I take the queen, he just takes back with the rook. I think I just take this rook here, and he can get this check in, which I guess could be annoying. After he gets that check in, then I cannot move the queen back to defend. But what I can do is play my king up to g7, and then does he have a follow-up from there? I mean, if he checks me here, I guess that's the question, is what's the follow-up? Then actually I could just take this because my queen is covering this check here. So I think I just take this, okay? And I'm in check, and I think the key is I don't go to the H file, because then he can get this check in here with the rook. Okay, so that's, I think, the problem within the problem, I guess you could say. Okay, let's see if we can get one more in here. Okay. My knight is hanging, but I've got some stuff going on here. So if I just take, well, I think this is again just being able to count the pieces here. If I take this rook, and then he takes my knight, I'm ahead. If he takes back here, I could just retreat my knight and I'm up to exchange. Actually, let's count the pieces real quick. Yeah, material is about even. So I just win the exchange here, I think. I think the point is he trying to get a 2-for-1? He doesn't, because this bishop is hanging as well. So let's see if there's something more I can get out of this position. I think I'm just taking this rook. And then if he takes my knight, I can back my bishop back out and I just win the exchange. Or I can take this bishop here, which probably would be better. And then if he takes this bishop, again, I'm ahead the exchange. So I'm going to take this. And, okay, he retreats it. So I think I just retreat my knight. And I think the idea here is that I have to bring it back here, because if I bring it back here, he takes this pawn. So let's try that. Oh, so it says that is incorrect. And what it is telling me is that the correct answer is knight to c6. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see here. The idea, I think, is that it is obstructing or interfering with this queen's protection of this bishop. So if he attacks it, then I can either take this right away and then he takes it. I'm still ahead of exchange, but I actually could get a little more by playing this check. Knight takes e7 check. And then after he takes, then I grab this guy. So I'm up an exchange and a pawn, essentially. And that's pretty good. Actually, no, just the exchange, because I was down a pawn, it looks like. So that is that. Let's go back to that position real quick. Queen. So this part, winning the exchange, rook takes d8, and then the idea is knight to c6. Now, if I did play this move, again, I think we have a slight edge here, but I think the text, the solution is better, because if he takes here, that kind of, my pawn structure's not as good. I think I'm a little ahead, but now he's got an exchange for a pawn, basically. So it's basically a pawn. My move, knight to d3, is about one pawn worse than the solution. Okay, so we're 9-1. Let's, you know what? Let's do one more problem and try to finish off on a strong point here. Okay, so let's see what white has in store. Okay, so we've got queen. The queen is making a risky foray into our area. So I think this might be just a simple trapping problem. Maybe. He's got this pawn here. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But what if I played rook to a8? So then the question becomes, what happens if he takes here on b5 with the pawn? And if I take, he just takes my queen. So I'm not really winning material in that case. So let's just see here. I think the solution, let's see. My first thought is to take on c4 first, but then queen takes b8 check, and after I can play rook takes rook to e8 to block. But then could he just play rook takes? So I don't think that's the solution. What about rook to b7? then he can just go back there. Let's go look at this again. Rook to a8. Queen. So the whole idea here, the queen has no safe square along the 7th rank. But if he plays this, then what? Do I just take it? It doesn't look like I'm winning any material there. Rook to a8 seems to be the answer, but see, if he takes here, I can actually play something like rook queen to c8 after that to avoid any problems, and then if he plays queen, then he could go to b6. So this is a little annoying because I can't quite cover all the squares. What if I played rook to b7? If he gets his check in, then I can attack him this way with rook to e8. The whole point is this rook is on pre here. Rook to a8. Here. This queen has to be trapped somehow, right? Rook to a8. C takes b5. You can play queen to c8. Then you can play queen to b6. And then, am I trapping him yet? Is there any trap there? No, I don't think so. Well, actually, let's see. There could be. Can I play d5? Because my queen will be covering this rook. So rook to a8. Here. Here, here, here. And then here. And there. Does he have an escape square? No. I think that's the solution. Okay, let me play it. And then here. And then here. Okay, and that was a little more difficult. Let me let's go back real quick, review that one, and then we'll finish up. So the whole idea is to recognize that this queen is trapped. So after rook to a8, we foresaw c takes b5. So you needed to account for this before you played rook to a8, which we did. Queen to c8, and then we saw that the only safe square is b6, and then we have this discovery with d5, and the only you can see the queen cannot go anywhere safely, so queen takes e6 check here, and of course white was going to get this pawn, but with the queen that should be plenty of material in black's favor. So 10-1 today, 10 right, 1 incorrect. But again, we learn from our mistakes and we move on. Okay? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. as I mentioned before, it is good to mix up your tactics training, all of your training. These different tactics servers that we've been doing our problems on have slightly different types of problems, and that will encompass the types of problems that you'll see in your game. So it's good to try a couple different ones. They are all, if you like one in particular, you will get sufficient training from it, I think. But I just personally like trying different types of problems, kind of mixing it up. Another thing I wanted to, mention, because I've been noticing it myself in my own training, is try not to worry as much about your rating, okay? And use it as a measuring stick, but the key is, or your objective is, in your tactical training, is to actually try to improve some aspect of your ability to solve tactics. So it might be, learning new patterns, okay? It might be improving the depth or the accuracy or the thoroughness of your calculation. Might be improving your efficiency in doing this. It might even be things like improving your confidence in making certain moves. Okay, so try to, hone in on one of these aspects in each of your training sessions, and the rating will go up naturally. Okay, and I've found that in all of my training in general, as well as in my ratings playing. Try not to, play for the rating. Try to find what you need to do to actually solve the problems. And then when you start solving the problems consistently and over time, guess what? The rating's going to go up. So I hope that helps. And if you're new to Better Chess Training, this is our Friday tactics video, training video, and I encourage the viewers to solve the tactics problems along with me and help to improve our tactical training, which is an important part of improving in chess for players of any level. So if that is something that is interesting to you, consider subscribing and let us improve our chess together.